everybody, to another exciting show of the Plant Whisperer 242. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know you guys will be wondering, who's that lady? And I'll let you know. And what is she doing on our camera? Well, anyway, I'm Kat, also known as the Plant Whisperer. And the show is the Plant Whisperer 242. So, what is this show all about? And who am I? Well, I've been in the plant industry in the Bahamas for the past 15 years, and I have been always inundated with questions regarding plant health, um, landscape design, and all of that good stuff. So, a lot of people can't reach to me, so we decided to reach out to you guys to help you with your plant questions. So, this show is here to it's an interactive show, people. You can ask questions and I will answer. We usually answer the questions at the end of the show, but we do answer the questions. So this is a very interactive show. So it's informative as well. But you guys can ask your questions and I will interact with you guys. So this plant, yes. This show, yes, is all about plants. But it was also created to highlight all of the plant specialists that we have here in the Bahamas, and we actually do have a lot of specialists in the field of in the field of nurserymen, in the field of landscaping, in the field of agriculture, and just homeowners who are just excellent in plants, with orchids, with bromeliads. So we decided to put this show together to highlight all of our specialists here in the 242. So, yeah, guys, I have a little friend in the background who likes to show up and take the show, so annoy her. But she's okay. She's okay. That's our local dog. Yeah, she's fabulous. One day we'll bring her on the show. You guys will love her. But again, welcome to the show, and it's all about plants. But before we get into today's show, morning, Miss Knowles. How are you? I hope you have pictures of your plants. I know you have all your peppers and your stuff growing. Morning, Debbie. Morning. You guys, you have to send us some shots of your seedlings. They shouldn't be seedlings anymore. They should be full-grown plants. And we're going to be showing you what we are a team. We're going to be highlighting what we have done so far in the past few weeks. So, before we get into today's show, what is all about transplanting, and for our local growers, you know how important it is to transplant your seedlings or just your plants. Transplanting isn't only about seedlings, but it's also about plants. So what we're going to do before we get into this week's show, like I said, what it's all about transplanting, we are going to go and review everything we have done so far. So for all of the newbies, I'm not going to go way in detail. I'm just going to give you a little skeleton. Morning, Miss Williams. So what we're going to do is we're just going to review for all of our people who are starting a farm. And I know they call it kid backyard farming, but you guys are farmers. So for everybody new who wants to start farming, I'm just going to give you some tips to look for and how to start. Because I know a lot of people are intimidated by, what do I do? How do I start? So I want to tell you how to start. We're going to tell you how to start. So these are a few of the tips. Again, I'm not going into detail, so you can review the other videos. So what you have to do, you want to identify which plants you're going to plant. Morning, Miss Martin. I hope you have some updated pictures. We want to post them during this week's show. So identify what you want to plant. Don't grow anything that you're not going to eat or you're not going to share. So we have to, that's the first step we talked about, which is identification. Number 2, location, location, location. It is important. You have to know what area in your yard gets a lot of sun, or your field gets a lot of sun, which gets shade. Location, location, location. Then you have to decide, how are you going to plant your items? Are you going to pot it? Are you going to put it in soil? What containers are you going to use to grow? Then, y'all know this is my favorite. But anyway, the most important step, as I say, soil. What type of soil or growing medium you're going to use? You don't actually even have to grow in soil, but you have to decide what you're going to grow your seedlings in. 5, you have to put together a treatment regimen. You have to know what you're going to fertilize with, how you're going to treat pests. And you guys, we went into more detail in that last week. But pests are going to be present. You're going to then have to think about your harvesting process. How are you going to harvest? Are you going to produce? Are you just going to give away? How are you going to harvest? And lastly, but not least, and again, like I said, these steps are not placed based on importance, but just steps that you have to consider before you even consider farming. But the 7th step we talk about was irrigation. And you guys know irrigation is just the process of bringing water to plants. So if you have just a simple watering can, that's considered irrigation, okay? So don't be intimidated by some of the terms. And this show is going to bring you some terms. So I want you guys to remember the terms we've been talking about during each show. You're going to need it for the end of this backyard farming, what do I going to call it? Backyard farming portion of Plan 242, because I have a nice giveaway for my farmers. So remember the terms that we have been discussing, because you're going to need it soon to get this great giveaway. Okay, so now we would have talked about everything that we would have covered, and those are the steps that you're going to need when you are thinking of starting your backyard farming. Okay, so irrigation, like I said, watering, and last week, week before last, we would have talked about germination, which is very important. No, sorry guys, that was the producer asking me a question. But germination, we all know what that process is. I won't repeat the definition. It's for you guys to go back to that video and find out what germination is. And you guys use these terms that I'm using. So when you are talking to, who knows, you may get interviewed, so when you're talking to that news channel, morning Nadine, y'all know she thinks she's the original backyard farmer. She ain't got no farm. She get field people. Listen, I think she can give y'all tips too. But yes, when you are talking about farming, these terms you should use, like irrigation, germination. And I will give you the definition again. Visit the previous shows that we would have posted. And last week we talked about a little bit about fertilization and your treatment process. These steps are very important. So, like I said, we've been giving out key terms. I need you guys to remember these terms. So now let's get into this week's show. If you guys have any pictures posted, we are going to highlight it. I know Miss Knowles have to have some good pictures to show us, and Miss Martin. But we're going to show, we've been working together. I've been feeding off y'all energy, the good energy you guys have been giving us. So, and we transplanted into our plants. So we're going to now show you what we have done. And I'm going to tell you the process, what we would have done when we transplanted. So, we had our seedling. This is not the seedling tray here, but I'm just going to show people what a seedling tray looked like. So, this was one of our starter trays, and I'm going to go to the next camera. So this was our starter tray. We had our cucumbers growing, and they were doing so well. Now, you guys, this is a new one, okay? This is a new one, because when you are now transplanting, this is a little tip. Whenever you go into the transplanting, I'm told to bring it over a bit. I think up and over. So when you guys are to the stage when you have to transplant, start to regrow again, okay? There should be a continuity process. So don't transplant, don't replant any more seeds, okay? Continue growing. But so we started off with something like this. Right, so we're going to get into some terms before we get into the goodies, guys. Okay, so you guys might ask, what is transplanting? Hopefully I have the definition up, but I'm waiting. So yes, that's an image of transplanting. But what is transplanting? Transplanting is the process of moving a fully germinated seed, moving a plant from one location to another. That's Frank, yes. It's there at the bottom. Transplanting or replanting is the technique of moving a plant from one location to the other. That is very simple, but it is correct. It's also the process of moving a fully germinated seed or mature plant and replacing it to a permanent location for the growing season. Now, you may say, we guys, I showed you a few seconds ago, we started in an air carton. That plant cannot grow or continue to survive in something that small. So, yes, you must transplant. You must move it from a smaller location to a bigger location. And do we really need to transplant? Because I know we get some lazy farmers. Yes, you must transplant. And that's an image there showing what you must look for. Now, one of the questions I've been getting a lot this week from a lot of growers is, when do I transplant? Okay. So if you were to, and I put up my fingers, if you were to get the definition, oh, that is so good, Mr. Knowles. Everything exploding and just growing. This is a timely show because I have all my corn. I gonna need to know your location. I have all my corn, pumpkin, peas, strings, cabbage, and beans today. Oh, wow. That is so good. So, transplanting. Let's get back to John. Let's get a little excited. So, transplanting. When do you transplant? That is the question I've been getting and been inundated with. So, morning, Kendrick. You waiting now. Y'all listen. Good morning, Pastor. How are you, sir? I hope you're growing. You needs to be growing. And you can't grow salt. But if you can, let me know, okay? Morning. So, guys, transplanting is very important. And when do you transplant? So if you were to get the Oxford definition of when to transplant, and when you have to transplant, they say you have to look for the second set of true leaves. What is the second set of true leaves? I know you don't know, and I ain't gonna try to tell you what it is. But I'm gonna tell you what I use and how I know when it's ready to transplant. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of good terminologies. Thanks, Kendrick. So yes, you're gonna get a lot of terminology on second leaf and third this. And if you're like my mom, they can say, look at the moon. Listen, I can make this very simple for everybody on this. So this is when you know when it's a transplant. Transplanting all depends on the root system. And I know you guys are going to be like, well, the roots are underground. Yes, they are. So I'm going to show you something. Your roots have to be mature. And when your roots are now mature, that's when you transplant. So I'm going to show you something so you can know. It's going to get a bit dirty on the show. And we're going to go back to that image. Camera. Oh, it's going to get dirty. You ready? So this is when you transplant. If you guys can see all of that roots, that root system there on my thyme plant. You guys, I handle my thyme rough, but I can because it's a mature plant. So whenever you can easily remove your plant from the container it's in, then your plant is ready to transplant. So stay on this camera. You guys, the dirt is everywhere. Okay, don't worry about the dirt. So this is one of our starter trays we started with. Guys, watch out for the dirt. There's so much dirt. My beet. Okay, our beet. Now, a tip is if you can easily tap at the bottom of it, tap it, and it can come out, then it's ready. So you guys seeing how this one, I hope you guys are seeing how this one can easily lift up?
You can't see it.
Oh, sorry, I'm coming out of the frame. If you guys can see how this one can easily lift out of the pot, you can see it coming out, and I'm just pressing easily at the bottom. That is showing you that it's ready to transplant. So later today, We are going to transplant more cucumbers. I know, to give away probably or to donate to somebody who wants it. So that's when you know your plant is ready to transplant. All that second leaf stuff, I guess, yes. But that's when you know your plant is ready to be transplanted. Your root system is very important. Always consider your root system when you're transplanting or growing. Okay, so guys, yes, we transplanted the cucumbers. I have a surprise. So let's see what we would have done. I'm going to show you different ways to transplant. Angle. So this is one of our babies, everybody. This is a cucumber. We transplanted it. We took it out of the starter tray. And again, like I said, if you don't have a starter tray, you can use an air carton, but you can use a starter tray. And this is one of them. This is just 1 week of growth. We took it out of the starter tray and we transplanted it. And look at it. Isn't it awesome? So now I know you guys may say, but Kat, I can't find pots like this. What do I do? What do I do? So let's keep it at angle, guys. What you can do, like I said, I ever had this old starter tray, and you guys can see it's dripping because we watered it this morning. So I ever had this starter tray, and this is what some of the seeds started in. So usually what I recommend customers to do, I give you all a real tip. Usually when we start growing, I start with a very little soil. If you guys could see, we put about this amount of soil at the bottom, and it's the reason why we do this. So we start our seeds in very little soil, and they spring, they germinate. And after they germinate and they're ready to be transplanted, what do you do if you don't have a pot this size? This is a 4-inch pot, by the way. You just pop out your plant, add more soil to the same starter tray, plant it back, and that's transplanting. Hey, you guys, Donette is so fabulous. Donette, I got a surprise for you, Donette. I can show you what I grew for you. Okay, so just to show you something, Donette. So, like I said, add more soil to your starter tray. So if you have a starter tray like this that's sort of long, don't fill it with soil. Start growing in a little soil and then adding more soil to it. That also is transplanting, okay? And you could also transplant it right to a raised bed or anything bigger. But if you're starting anything from here, go to something like this, a 4-inch, okay? A 4-inch container. So you guys have seen how gorgeous this is in Manx. This is our cucumbers. Yes, team. This is ours. So when they grow juicy, if you guys want one, you can always pick it up. Okay? So, hold on. I got some of you done it. Okay, so for our growers who are not really interested in all those veggies and all those stuff, so people like Donette, what we did is we've been growing some mint. You guys, look, I grew it in water because a lot of people's like, oh, they don't like soil and soil too dirty and this and that. So we were growing it in water for you guys. So this is some clippings. You can see the roots on it. I don't know if you can see the roots. You see the roots, guys? So for people who prefer growing herbs are fun. You can easily grow it in water. You guys can see there's no soil in here. Oh. Yes, Nadine, this is one of your creations, your fabulous containers. So you guys can see it's growing in water. Hey, Donette, it's good for teeth health. I know, eh? So grow your herbs, people. And it's easy to grow. I can show some more what we have. So you guys, we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. Sorry, guys, my stuff. We have been talking for the past couple of weeks about the cucumbers. The cucumbers is getting all the shine. But this is our little secret. We have tomatoes and they're transplanted. We have beautiful tomatoes that are growing for you guys, and this was transplanted. Okay, and this is our harvest. So you guys, I want you to showcase and be happy about what you're growing. So we have lots of tomatoes growing. All right. So one last shot. We have an update for you guys. So Bonnie, we all gonna need cucumber and mint. And yeah, yes. But let me tell you the joke. We have all types of limes growing. I know limes growing, Persian. We have key limes. Listen, we got have nice drink. And we got all type of fever grass going, eh? Nice teas. But well, back to business. You know, you guys, like I told y'all, germination is usually this is an update on last week's show. Uh-oh, we had a malfunction. Sorry guys. But germination usually takes a week, but certain plants, certain leafy plants like celeries and spinach, they take a bit longer. So you guys, this is an update on our celery. So for you guys out there, I know you might be wondering like, I planted my spinach and I planted my celery and I planted my kale and I planted my lettuce and they're taking so long. Some plants do take even longer than the 2 weeks to germinate. So you guys can see this is our celery. And hopefully next week we can have a better update to show you. So don't be discouraged when growing. Don't be discouraged. It takes a bit long for certain plants, okay? So it all depends. But you guys, because we have lots of celery here. So back to transplanting. So it is important to transplant. Sorry. Oh, it is important to transplant. You cannot keep your plant in the container it was grown in. If you do, the roots will become damaged and your plant will suffer. If it doesn't suffer, it may actually die. So it is important. And for people who don't have any yard space, you can just grow in bigger containers. Okay, and we would have seen the different containers or what you can do. So with transplanting, guys, sorry for my paperwork, but with transplanting, I know you guys, I always talk about what's important to me, what I consider the most important, and I get fussed a lot. Soil. I recommend when you are transplanting, especially into another pot, whatever soil you would have used the first time, unless it was really, really bad soil and you could remove it. And again, no soil is bad. Sorry, people, no soil is bad. But if you use the wrong soil when you initially started with your seeds, don't use that again. Try to remove as much as you can around the root system. But if you use the right choice soil or medium to grow, continue with that if you are transplanting up into bigger containers. Okay? Continue with the same soil. So for me, I love growing with potting soil. So when we transplanted with the same potting soil. I added a little extra compost because the root system is now more developed and can absorb more nutrients and micronutrients and minerals that are found in the compost. So if you want to add something else to that same soil, I always advise you to go to your local nursery and find out what compost they have. Okay? Or if you want to be Spider-Man, you could fertilize. It's going to grow faster, but we all know the benefits and the side effects of certain fertilizers. So I recommend using the same soil. If you are going now from pot to pot, use the same soil you started with. And I want you guys to have fun growing. Growing is fun. It's fun. Grow what you like to eat. Okay? So now we talked about transplanting. We talked about it going into bigger containers. Now, what about if you're putting it in the ground? or in a raised bed, I recommend that other soil that most people call bad soil, use a little bit topsoil to whatever medium you would have grown it in, or however the consistency of your soil is. Introduce that to the soil that it was used to. Because don't forget, now you're transplanting and putting it into a whole different environment. And sometimes the plants can go into a shock. Okay, so to avoid shock, just add some of that natural soil that you're putting it in with the potting soil or potting mix that it's used to, so the plant can now become adjusted to the new environment if you were now going to put it in your raised bed. So, you guys, if you have any questions, this is the time. If you guys want to show off what you are growing, show it off. Yeah. Growing is fun. Grow what you like to eat. That is so true. So, Donette and I were talking earlier this week, and as we discussed, you know, grow what you do. So, let's say, for example, Donette is in the dentistry industry. You can grow things to enhance teeth health. Grow carrots, grow parsley. Parsley is supposed to help with bad breath. So grow mint, grow things that's gonna coexist with what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you're a technician, I know grow sugar cane. It got a lot of sugar in it. Give you some energy. So grow what is going to coexist with your lifestyle. Don't grow something that's gonna outgrow you, and then you're gonna become tired. You're gonna not want to do it, and all of that stuff. And if food or herb is not good for you, but you want to grow and have your own backyard farm, you can grow orchids. You can grow bromeliads. Even grow grass if you wish, you know. But growing is fun, and I want you guys to continue growing. And next week, we're going to talk about harvesting. We're going to talk more about transplanting. We're going to look at an update of what we've grown so far and harvesting and the process of harvesting and how you can keep certain plants from year to year. You know, because a lot of people think, hey, once my tomato would have already grown tomatoes, oh, that plant isn't good anymore. That's not any true. Okay? We're going to show you how to protect your plants and to protect your harvest. So we want you guys to continue growing and have fun with growing. And if you have any questions, don't forget, you can send it to us and we will answer it during this show. So as we usually say before we end the show, let's grow together so we all can grow together. And I want to thank you guys. I want to thank our team members. You guys, you have a lot of cucumbers, tomatoes, we got limes, we got everything. So I want to thank you guys for spending your Saturday morning with us. And let's grow together so we can grow together. Thank you.